Insane in the membrane.
Hello and welcome to another edition of your favourite podcast, Insane in the Membrane, with me, Rich Wilson. And this week I'm joined by the mighty Hannah Byczkowski. How you doing?
I'm all right.
Yeah?
I'm all right, thanks to you.
I'm good, thank you. I've been watching
new baby.
Traitors. I know.
Oh my
Who'd have
God.
thought it? I know. He literally, I've just picked, because I had to go out and pick something up, and I rushed back because I was doing this. And I got in, and I went, I've got to get changed, I've got to do the thing. And then I put this top on, and I picked it up, I went, all right, listen, I've got to go in a minute. And he just went, and just yacked. So I've had to put something else on. Here we are. Yeah, so he's doing all right. He's only got one head. That's a surprise at my age.
Good news. I'm thrilled for you.
Thank you.
One head. You were expecting the worst.
I didn't know what he was going to come out of. 8 limbs. I don't know what was going to happen, but 2 eyes, but one behind each other. I don't know.
Yeah, classic.
Yeah, playing with fire. But as I was saying, I've been watching the Traitors. And
the new one or the better one?
The new. I saw yours, obviously, because you were in it. So I thought I'm going to have a look at that, see what's going on. And I'm now watching this one. I can't. The pressure, the fucking pressure.
There's no pressure. It's loads of fun.
Is it?
Yeah, there's no pressure. The only pressure in the Traitors is I'm going to get fucking murdered because I don't want to leave.
Ah, of course. Yeah.
That's the only pressure. That's the only pressure. Other than that, it's loads of fun.
Were you upset that you weren't a traitor?
Oh, I was outraged. I have never been so mad in all my fucking life. I was like, because I thought I was going to go in as a traitor. For some reason, I think it must have been what someone said to me. But I was like, I'm going to be a traitor. This is going to be great. Because me and my mates always used to play Secret Hitler, which isn't as bad as it sounds. But it's a different version it's a bit like the Traitors. And I was so good at it that I was lying to my mates every time we played. And my friend Nick would be like, are you actually not a traitor this time? And I was like, no, I promise this time I'm not. And I'd get him every time. And I was so excited. I was like, I'm great at doing this. I can lie. I can manipulate. I'm going to be great. And then I didn't get that bloody tap on the shoulder. And I was raging. Because I think it's really easy to be a traitor. I think it's a piece of piss.
It is if you're... I don't know. I think if you take it for what it is, it's a game.
It's a game, and you've got permission to lie and cheat.
Yeah.
Everyone will forgive you for it. It is the best role.
Because sort of on this latest one, and then there was Paul Gorton, and everybody was like, "What?" Like he was the hero, and then in 1 minute they were like, "Hang on a minute, I don't know," and then when it got revealed that he was a traitor, and he took a bow and was like, "I'm a traitor," and everyone was like, "Fuck!" And it was like everyone was pleased.
Everyone's chuffed, even though it doesn't matter, because my whole game plan was I'm not going to look for him. Because then I'll just get murdered. So let some other knobhead do that. And I'm just going to sit back, have a crusty croissant on the breakfast table, and just relax. So that was... there's no point in getting rid of them. There's no point. Because they're just going to keep fucking recruiting. I think they've had about 10 already in this season. The ratio on that to faithfuls is outrageous. I think it's a piece of piss. I don't think it's hard at all.
It was that was it. It was when I was watching it, and I'm like, I don't think. The thing is with me, I'd take it too seriously. And it was only when I watched. It was something you said. It was in an interview that you did recently. It was a little clipping, and you said it's just a game. You got to just play it, just a game. Or something like
also,
that. Also, like,
I certainly wasn't the oldest one there by any stretch, but I wasn't. I mean, how old? I was like 32 when I filmed it, and when you're at that age, it's like, oh fuck it, who cares? Also, I know who I am. I know enough about myself to not get kind of. And the younger ones, you could see them a bit like, what's going on? But when you know yourself and you're kind of comfortable with who you are, it's a lot easier to go into something like that and be like, fuck it, I'm just going to play the game. I mean, I went in it, and well, you know, because we've been friends for a while, you know that I wanted to make the change to go to full-time comedy. And that was one of the main reasons I did it, because I thought, you know, a bit of exposure. Never expected to win it, but a bit of exposure. And I got sacked because I wasn't allowed to go in and film.
Oh, really? Is that what happened?
You can't go and do it. So I was like, well, I'm going to quit then. So I was like, oh shit, got to pay my bills. So that was my reason for going in. And I was like, you know what? I could happily fuck some strangers over, no problem whatsoever. I mean, you do make bonds, of course. We made very quick bonds. But as a faithful, we were kind of okay to do that because we weren't lying to anyone. So as soon as I realised I was faithful, I was like, well, I can bond with people as much as I like. But yeah, I think it's a piece of piss. As long as you don't get too cocky. When you get too cocky, it's all over.
Well, it was that you said, don't tell people stuff. Don't keep telling them what you're going to do or whatever it was, you know.
People running around going, oh, well, listen, I'm very observant. And you're like, that's not a trait they want you to have.
No, they don't want that.
Even though you're not, because you made all the wrong decisions.
Yeah.
That's not something that they want.
It's funny. It's funny. There's a guy, Jazz, on this one. I don't know if you've seen any of it, but
Jazz is brilliant.
Oh my God. I love it when he keeps having these big speeches about what he thinks, and he's always wrong. He's like the terrible.
No, he's right. Jazz is right.
No, Jazz. There was one the other day. He was talking about 3 people, I think. One of them was right, but the others, he was so off.
No, he got Paul. He's got Harry.
Right.
He's the only one that's suspecting Harry. Jazz is brilliant. I messaged him. I was like, you better fucking sort this, Jazz. You better. I know I'm obsessed with it.
Harry's playing a blinder.
Oh, well, no, again, he's fucked up, in my opinion.
Oh, really?
Because when he was going for Paul, this is just turned into a Traitors podcast, isn't it, now? When he was going for
We'll get to the other stuff.
We'll get to the other stuff. When he was going for Paul, he was like, oh, and here's another reason, here's another reason, here's another. And let me tell you, when you're in that game, as much fun as it is, you can't remember one thing from one day to the next.
Oh, really?
Because your head is so full of shit, and you don't know, you don't have any of the information. If I was there, I'd be like, how the fuck are you're reeling this off like you know exactly what's going on in the game? And that's what a traitor does. They know, they have all the information. So I think he went a bit too hard with it. Mark my words. But at first, because I'm doing a column for the Radio Times every week about the episode, so I had to watch it. At first, I was like, burn that fucking castle down. I don't want anyone else in that castle unless I'm there. Burn it down to the ground. And now I'm enjoying it.
Must be hard, right? Well, that's it. It must be hard because you've had such a good time there, and now you're watching these people.
Andrew in my chair. I'm like, get out of my chair.
And is there that in the morning when they come down for breakfast? That bit is that you're like, oh, who's not going to come down? I remember someone coming into me because every morning you're just filled with utter dread at the idea that you might. I was having such fun that was the only bit that was hard, was being like, am I murdered? And I remember someone pulling me in for maybe like to go into the diary room or something. And I was like, no, I'm not fucking going. I'm not going. I'm not going. I'm not going. I'm not coming with you. They were like, you've got to come in. I was like, no, I'm not. No, you get fucked. No, I am not getting murdered. There's no. I mean, all it was just a chat. There was no. I wasn't murdered, obviously. But I was like, no, I'm not coming with you. There's no way. You can tell them traitors. They can shove it up their arse. Pick someone else. I'm not going. Everyone still talks about when you found out that, was it Wilfred?
Yeah.
When you found out, you and him have become really close, and I've met he and I did mindful sessions night in Milton Keynes, which was like a big show we did, and that was brilliant. And we got on. He and I got on immediately. He's such a lovely lad. Straight away we just bonded. Yeah, so I totally see how you do the same. How you be in that situation and you just gravitate towards each other.
But
and then you
again,
find out.
nobody expected to win. When you're just taking it day by day, and you kind of think, I just want to get to episode 3. If I've made it to episode 3, I'll be happy. And you're like, oh, now I've done episode 3, I want to get to episode 9. Now I want to do it. And then when eventually they were like, there's no more murders, you could win this. And I was like, you know, I can definitely tell Meryl what to do. She would just do it. Aaron, I was pretty sure, trusted me, and I pretty much trusted him. But I did think, to be honest, like, people have mentioned Wilf, and it absolutely could be him. Am I willing to take that risk, or should I just get rid of him? To just make sure, because 30 grand was what I needed to make the jump.
Yeah.
I'd worked it out before. I was like, this is what I need. I want to get a car. I want to do this. I want to pay the rest of the bills in the house that I was living in London. And then I want to cancel that contract and move back home and kind of live life on the M6. And to do all that without a job, I needed 30 grand.
Right.
And I was about to win 30 grand.
Yeah, perfect.
But I have to get rid of him. If he's a faithful, then like whatever. But like, I've got to get rid of him. There was no two ways about it. I had to do it.
But it worked out perfectly. Like, I remember you, like you said, we've known each other a while, and I remember you telling me about it, and I was like, yeah, go for it. And then I don't know much about telly, so I didn't know whether it was going to be. We didn't even know what it was when you were talking about it. I was like, I've been asked to do this thing, and I was like, well, yeah, give it a bash, see how you go. And then it's become, everyone's talking about it. Comic Relief they've now done a thing with Dawn French.
Yeah,
I just saw that the other day.
Which
that was
I didn't get invited to do, by the way.
That's bullshit, mate.
I know.
But like you said
I can't
before,
complain.
No, you've done all right out of it. It's been great, and you have made the leap, and now you're full time comic.
Full time, up and down that M6 on a Ginster's pasty, living the absolute dream.
You haven't, but you're not a true comedian until you've eaten a pot noodle in a travel lodge at 2 a.m. with a teaspoon.
With no water.
With no water. You've got to have a Ginster's pasty at some weird time of the night, or you've got to have changed at crew at some point.
Oh yeah,
that's when you know you're a comic.
Yeah. Well, luckily I drive, so it's not that bad. I don't have to deal with the fucking trains.
You will do. You watch. There'll be a time. There'll be one time, and the day you change at crew,
MOT, I'm fine. I'm living the best life.
The day you change at crew is the day you'll go, I've done it. That's it.
Yeah, it is.
I've done it. But is it what? So, like you were saying before about, like, you know who you are, and that's what has always been. I've always admired that about you. You have that confidence about you. Obviously you have your ups and downs like everybody, but you don't.
Yeah.
You always seem to be more up than down, and I've always. Is that just how you are? You've always been the same.
I think. Oh shit! I just unplugged my computer. That's fine. What an absolute chaos. Do you know what? I think now more than ever, because I don't know. Yeah, maybe I have. I just now, especially because I am, not to get too cheesy too quickly, but I'm so very lucky and grateful to wake up every day and choose what I do and choose how I make my money and choose. That makes it sound like I've got an OnlyFans. I don't do that, but I will. There's an audience for it, so slide into my DMs and then I'll start.
Save that for the end. Save that for the end of your career. Like, it's either cruise ships, OnlyFans. Yeah.
I think I feel very lucky. I also feel very lucky because I was very close to not having that. And I could have just stayed at the job that I was doing, very unfulfilled, and thinking that there was more and that I wanted more, but I just didn't have the courage to go for it. So I'm very grateful and I'm very lucky that I get to do that. And I think that just stays with me now, that it could always be worse. I could be in an office block in Ilford. Whereas, I get to do anything I want. But I think you just have to teach yourself to be that way. I'm very lucky to have not dealt with any mental health problems myself. Chemically, I don't have any mental health problems.
No.
But, you know, I know a lot of people who do, and I completely understand the battle that people go through. But I just think that it's not that deep, is it? Like, we're not here for that long. Jen, I know we say it all the fucking time, but it's not that deep. No one's going to give a shit in 50 years about
That's
whatever's
true.
happening today or whatever happening now. I just want to make sure that, you know, I find a little bit of happiness in every day, and I'm very, very grateful for everything I have. I mean, like, my family are just amazing. They're absolutely incredible. I stay most of the time. I'm in Stoke. Well, not most of the time. Half the time I'm in Stoke
Okay.
and half the time I'm in London. And I stay with my mum and dad, who've, you know, got an amazing
Yep.
house that I go and stay in, and, you know, they're like, stay forever, do whatever you want, and I love that. And my sister
Brilliant.
has gone and had kids, which I never really wanted. So I
No.
get my maternal kind of whatever desires there are. I get to have that with my nephew. They've kind of like walked so I could run, really. I could just turn up, give a cool arm, and be like, "Hiya, mate," and then like go like get him all hyped up and excited, and then I leave, and she has to get him to bed.
Well, you have to. You could be you're the cool auntie. You just turn up,
Exactly.
do all the cool bits, and then
exactly. And like seeing
fuck off
him
again.
whenever I'm on TV, to see him like watch me and go, "Hannah," is like, it's amazing. But they kind of, I don't have any responsibilities. I only have to look after myself, and even then there are people there behind me. My boyfriend's amazing. I come and stay with him when I'm in London. Don't pay any rent, which is really helpful.
Amazing.
Very grateful about that. No, all joking aside, he's very supportive, and I've made sure that I've surrounded myself with people that give me something and that I want to give back to them. Because otherwise, I think I would have more. I would be down a lot more, and I would, you know, because people are toxic. People take things from you that they shouldn't take from
Oh
you.
God, yeah.
And you should break up with people, break up with friends, make that normal. Be like, no, go fuck yourself. I've got no interest. Send them a text and be like, look, it's been great, and I wish you all the best, but I don't want you in my life anymore, and make that a more normal thing.
I think that does come. I don't know. I mean, it definitely comes with age. You get to a point you're like, I don't really need to see that person. Every time I see them, they just fuck me off, and you just kind of go, yeah. You just sort of see them less and less until they're like over there, you know.
But now there's a time where we can be contacted anywhere, anytime. And, you know, somebody could be like, oh, we should go for coffee. And you're like, no, I'd rather fist myself and go for a coffee with you. But that is how it like, and how awful is it that I haven't even asked for you to text me, but now I'm obliged to fucking message you. And if I don't message you, I'm a cunt. It really gets me. But I do just send it to you. And I'm like, do you know what? Honestly, all the best. But this is not for me anymore.
Yeah.
And whether that's in London, I've got a group in London, I've got a group of friends up north. I've got, you know, everywhere I've got, like they're the planets in my solar system, and they give me everything that I need to go and have an amazing life.
But I know what you mean. There's now people that they're just your mates, and it doesn't matter when you speak to them. They're just like, hello, mate. Yeah. They're just, there's no kind of, because there's a couple of people I had around that were just like, they were so like, but I haven't heard from you. I'm like, mate, you know what I do? I'm not around. I'm never going to be around. And if I am, then fine. But I can't do, you know, you keep inviting me out on a Saturday night. How long have you known me? 20 years I've been doing this. So, yeah, and they've kind of just, I've had to just sort of like go, I haven't got the energy. Because it's always like, I haven't heard from you. I'm like, I haven't heard from you. You haven't messaged me.
I know. I've set up a WhatsApp group with my friends in London that I want to see, of which there are about 3.
And now they're listening. They go, I'm not in this WhatsApp group.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Ooh, I was like, you know how I feel about you. No, this is the only reason I've agreed to do this podcast, so that I can just break up with all my mates.
Breaking up with everybody.
Yeah, exactly. But I set up a WhatsApp group, and I was like, do you know what? I'll message you. I'll just message in the group when I'm in town. And if I am, and you're around, we'll go for a drink. Because it is very spontaneous. And if a job comes up, I'll take it. And, you know, various other things. But yeah, I think it's mainly, I'm probably not a very good guest to have on this podcast because I don't battle with anything really, but I'm also not going to pretend that I do to make comedy out of it because I genuinely don't. I know this is hard for a lot of people, but for me personally, it is mind over matter. So I can coach myself out of a bad situation, or if I'm feeling a bit shit about something, I know exactly what to say to myself and how to deal with it to be able to get out of that and remember that it's not. I mean, Adam, my boyfriend, has he can get really wound up and not know how to get out of it, and I have to be like, what the fuck is wrong? Like, all it is you're a bit late for something, or something's cropped up that you don't know. Why are you getting stressed out about it?
Yeah.
Like, why? And I'm like, just chill the fuck out. You're gonna give yourself a fucking heart attack. But just calm down.
I think there is what I like. I've got, even when things get really shit, and last week I was having a bit of a time of it. There's a few things happened, and I was a bit like, it was a bit of a kick in the nuts. And then I sort of spoke about it briefly, and then I was like, well, there's no point in just getting annoyed. There's no point getting upset. What can you do? So I started emailing some people, and I got in touch with some people, and then suddenly this week it's all changed, and I was like, so there is. I think you have to have. There's something in you that makes you keep pushing on. Where you go.
Yeah. I mean, also things change on a dime. They change so quickly. I mean, my problems now. If you'd have told me 18 months ago that these are the problems I'd be having, I'd be thrilled. Well, that means I'm smashing it then. Whereas now I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake. Why haven't I been asked to do BBC Unclothed with Ed Campbell? You know what I mean?
Yeah, here we go. That's how it starts.
And then you're like, don't be a dickhead. Come on, don't be a
message him. I bet he'd love to have you on.
No, I'm not. No, listen, I'm too cool for that. Ed knows where I am. Ed knows where... No, I don't mind. I know it's not Ed's decision, but whatever. I'm only slightly bitter about it. If somebody had told me that this was my problem, or this is what would be eating at me, I'd be like, yes! Let's go!
But you do have a great...
And you start having different problems. What I've realised is that you're never going to be happy unless you're never going to be happy naturally. You have to make sure that you make yourself happy, because no matter how much money you make, no matter how far you get in the job you want, there will always be things to moan or complain about. Always. True. And I've caught myself doing it, and then I have to look at myself and go, why are you being a knob?
I know.
You've got so many things going for you. Shut up and calm down.
This is what happened to me. This is what happened to me last week, where there was a couple of things, and then I was like, oh, for fuck's sake, it's all shit. What's the point? No one cares. I'm old, blah, 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 blah. And then I started looking in my diary, and it's just green, where everything's just full. And you go, what are you fucking crying for? You're busy. Stop moaning. Yeah, but I'm not doing that.
You could be working in an office block in Ilford.
Oh, God. I remember the office block in Ilford.
Jesus.
No disrespect to anyone in Ilford.
No, yeah, but it was the whole monotony of it. For some people, the idea of going to work every day from 9 to 5, having weekends off, having your holidays, that's a great life. That's what people want because it's stable. That was my idea of hell. Looking back on it, I don't know how I did it. In fact, most days I think I did call in sick, but I wasn't having it. I was so like, this is just shit. This is awful.
Well, I think there was, because you know, it was a good social life, and I think you needed that. You were just like, I'm just gonna going out, because it's just, I can't. Because some people, they'll do their job and then they go home, watch a bit of telly, go to bed, telly, go to bed, and that's fine if that's what you're into. But again, same as you, I couldn't handle that. I've always had an issue with that. So it's always
I think at the time I just needed to go out as well and go into. I was like, there's more to life than this. So then what would happen is I'd just go out and get pissed. And I'm not an alcoholic, but I think I could have got down that route. Do you know what I mean? Because you're like, I've got to find some happiness, some fun. And like now, genuinely, like everyday life is pretty fun.
It's brilliant. I'm really pleased. Really pleased. But you've got a really great family. Like, seeing you've got, like, they all seem really positive as well.
Yeah,
which is nice. Yeah, like your dad's always taking the piss and.
what they could have said when I turned up and went, I'm going to go full-time comedy, they could have been like, what the fuck do you think you're doing? That's not going to be... And I think my dad was a bit worried about it. I think he was a little bit like, well, you know, I think he just didn't want me getting hurt when I got rejected, but he doesn't understand that I'm fine with rejection. I am fine with it. I don't mind it. I don't see it as a bad thing. I'm always getting rejected for things, but then I remind, and for a second I'm like, oh, why the fuck didn't I get? I mean, like someone put me forward for something recently that I don't think I've got, and for a moment I was like, oh, and then I was like, no, why? Shut up.
Yeah.
Shut up. Shut up. There's so many amazing things going on. You know, things like money worries. I mean, I'm not loaded by any stretch of the imagination, but I don't have I don't have money issues.
No.
There are plenty of people out there that just can't afford to fucking live. That have to worry about. I heard on the radio somebody saying the other day, like, oh, if you've got enough money to go and batch cook, then go. And I was like, fuck, people don't even have enough money to go out and buy food.
No.
And I'm sat here belly aching about a job I didn't get because I'm egotistic. It is. I know everyone says it's all about perspective, but it really is. Sometimes you just have to be happy for the basic things, don't you?
You do, and that's the thing. You have to remind yourself about that a lot. And it's like you said, it's that physically saying out loud, "Fuck you, pull your head in. Look what you have got. Look what you're doing.
Yeah.
You aren't, you know, like the other day, I got a takeaway, and there's some people that can't even afford milk, and you're like, you're doing all right.
I know,
you
exactly.
can afford that, you know.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
you know, I mean, producer Paul gets it in the ear hole for me all the time. I'm always moaning about something. Like coming, the fucking this and that and the money. He's like, do you want to be here? I'm like, yes. And then we're fine.
I would love a beer now.
Yeah, I was just thinking, do you know what? Yeah.
I'd love a beer. It's nice and sunny as well, thank fuck.
Because we've got that studio that's in Tunbridge Wells, and right as you come out the front door, directly opposite is the pub. It's like not even.
Oh, why aren't we doing this there?
Because we're all busy, aren't we? We're all busy. We'll have to do a special one. Do a special one. But you have got a decent family, and you've got is your dog still around?
No, Wilf died. But what was really funny is I'd just done a festival gig, and I was driving back, and my dad called and said, "Yeah, Wilf's died." And I called Adam, and I was like, "Wilf's died," and he was like, "What? How has that happened? No." And I was like, "Look, I'm cut up about it as well, but do you want to call?" And he thought I meant Wilf from the Traitors.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did die really sadly, but I think, you know, it's time. But again, things like that, I don't really let get to me anymore. It's like, oh, there's an old dog. People die. That's it. Dogs die. Maybe I've become a bit too relaxed, actually.
Yeah, now you're too far the other way.
I'm like, fucking ass. Just do it quietly, whatever it is.
But what I like is you are easy to talk to about these things. Like, even though you're like, look, just fucking pull yourself together. You don't sort of poo-poo it when people do talk to you. You kind of
no, definitely not.
Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, you know, people around me my family members deal with genuinely chemical imbalances of the brain where it's not as simple as solving a problem. And, you know, there has to be a thing. I'm just very lucky to not have it. I'm incredibly lucky to not have it. But people around me definitely do. But I think what helps is to kind of say, it's not that bad, think it through. You know what I mean? For that momentary relief, try if you can. I don't know if you can, I can't. Like I say, I don't have it. So there's no way that I can begin to put myself into the shoes of other people who do. But when I talk to people about it, I do try and just be like, just everyone's healthy. Your family's healthy. Your family's happy. Everybody's in a good place, you know?
Yeah.
And that's all we can do. And it's not that deep. It's never that deep.
No, I know what you mean. It's always money is the biggest issue at the minute, I think, for people.
Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, when you see, you know, like the fact that we got food banks, and every time you go to the supermarket, there's a big box, there's a big basket, and it says, you know, put your donations in here, and it's chocker. And, you know, there are people I know that, you know, they can't even put the heating on. And you're like, fuck, that's terrifying. So
It is.
so I get it.
It's a real problem.
Yeah.
It's a real problem. So I think just taking stock of that and being like, we're not in that situation, and we've got comfortable lives is incredibly important. But I think other people have a lot of responsibilities. Like I say, people have got kids they have to feed. People have got, I mean, you've got like, what, 10 kids? You've got...
that I know of.
People have got like real responsibilities. I just fanny around doing whatever I want to do.
Yeah.
And I never want that to change. I don't think, I genuinely don't think, and I hope I won't be having kids. But it's like people have to now make a decision about whether, if they want kids, they're like, well, can we afford them? And that's not right. That's not how it should be.
No.
But,
No, not at all.
That is the way that it is, unfortunately.
There is an added, it's not pressure, there is a different, I think it's, whereas my other lads are grown up now, and now I'm doing it again, you're kind of like, oh, right, okay, this has to work. What I'm doing has to work. Yeah. So it's given me a new sort of kick up the arse. It's like, I'm now, all the sort of projects that I'd had that I'd kind of like, like, oh, I'll get back to that. Now I'm like, oh, I've got to fucking do that now. Got to do that now. It's like, like this podcast, the amount of time, again, with producer Paul, I've gone, oh, is anyone listening to this? What's happening? He's like, mate, he goes, you're smashing it. Don't worry about it. And I'm like, okay. All right. But now
podcasting's a full-time job.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And then we've got another full-time job, which is comedy.
I know. Yeah. But this is all part of it now. When you're a comedian, when I started back in the 40s, all you had to do was just get to the gigs.
Yeah, call in, get the paper and call in and see what gigs are available.
Listening to the radio, to the wireless, sending a messenger in ahead. I'm on my way. I'll be there in 2 days. I'll be ready.
I'm just on my horse.
You had a horse?
One is available for the 10 spot.
You know what? We would have been jesters back in the day. Do you think? How long do you think we lasted?
Well, I say that now. People in our industry get very cocky very fast.
Yes.
And it's so funny because I'm like, you're a clown.
Yeah,
it's not really a cool job to have, really.
Especially now, people think we're cunts.
No, my dead nana's very proud that I'm on stage telling dick jokes to strangers for money. And it doesn't take away from the fact that it makes me happy and I enjoy doing it. It doesn't, but it really makes me laugh when you see people talking about the nuances of joke writing and just make a fucking laugh and go to bed. I think I'm like an old grumpy comedian. I've been doing it for 3.5 years.
Yeah. I think Bernard Manning's come back and he's in you. Just make them laugh. Make them laugh.
Oh God! Yeah,
do your jokes and fuck off. Do your jokes and fuck off.
It is funny how it's turned. It just makes me laugh how people are so serious about comedy.
Some people do take it a bit too seriously, and you have to say to them, "Fucking chill." But then those people, I think they get it confused. They think you have to be that way to sort of get anywhere or be, that's part of your ambition. You're like, you said it perfectly when we had a back and forth, and you were talking about. I made a joke about like not climbing up your own arse or getting ahead of yourself, and you went, that never happened. Yeah. And I can't remember what I had it in my head. It's gone now. What you said, but it was just
that dementia kicking in.
Yeah.
Where am I?
Yeah. What am I doing? The amount of times this happens to me.
Oh, shit myself.
Yeah, what's that smell? And you were saying, we were talking about that, and you were going, look, that won't ever happen because it's not part of who you are.
Well, I think it's also because it happened. I started quite late in life, so I know exactly what it's like to have a shit job, and I know exactly what it's like to have things be shit, and I just won't ever take it for granted. So I think that helps. People that have been doing comedy for longer than they've been alive, it's very hard to have perspective.
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah,
Well, I'm glad that it happened later for me. I can hold my own in any situation now. I'm not. I know exactly who I am. Even despite people, any rejections that happen, it doesn't change my self-confidence and the belief that I have in myself. It doesn't change that, and it just makes it easier to do this job. Having a bit of, nowhere near as much experience as you've got in life, but we'll stop now with the age.
No, but I was the same. I got into it late, and I'm glad again.
Oh,
I'm
yes,
glad I
you
did.
did.
Yeah, I was 32, so I'm glad because then, because you've done you want like you exactly what you've just said is that I know what it's like to have to go to some fucking leaky factory at 4:00 in the morning and put stuff in boxes and pack bananas and do whatever else I was doing. And it makes you more appreciative of now. So when I have those moments like I did last week where I was like, all is lost, this is all fucked. To then go, no, it's not. You're just having a moment. You're all fine.
I also used to work with people. I also used to do care assessments. So I'd help people. I would kind of set up a situation for someone to pass away in their home on their own terms. So I was around death quite a lot, and I was faced with it on a day-to-day basis. And I've always been, I think since that, I used to work for the Chelsea Pensioners as well, and I used to do the same thing there. I think I always kind of have been aware of my own mortality. And even though it sounds incredibly morbid, it's just made me a bit happier to be here and be alive and be, healthy for now. And kind of really make it count. It sounds so cheesy and everybody says it, but it is so true that we aren't here for that long. I mean, you've got about 4 months left. But we're not here for that long.
That's true. It's true.
Genuinely, it flies by. It flies by. The fact that the Traitors, I filmed the Traitors 18 months ago, is outrageous. I can remember every smell, every thought. I can remember everything, and it's flown. I'm 2 years older than I was when I did that. It just goes by so quickly.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to be 52 next week. 52. How am I 50? Yeah, how am I 52? I was 32 yesterday, and now I'm 50. And it just, oh God. So is that all of a sudden? I think that helps as well. It's like you haven't got time, mate, to be feeling sorry for yourself. You need to get this shit done. Get it off the ground, mate.
It was my birthday a couple of weeks ago, and I decided that I wanted to just go and have a bit of day drinking at a really nice restaurant that I really like in the countryside, just with amazing people around me. And then we ended the night turning an Indian restaurant into our own little nightclub because there was nowhere else open and it was a Wednesday. But it was and it sounds shit. And then my mate got off with someone who had half an ear. It was very bizarre behaviour. Half an ear. Which literally you could see the teeth marks in it. That's Staffordshire for you, baby.
Oh, my God.
And I was just like, I'm 34, this is mad. And I've never enjoyed birthdays. Well, not enjoyed them, but I've never really bothered with them. I'm not asked.
No, same.
But this year I was like, no, I'm fucking happy. Like, life is going better than I ever imagined. And I want to celebrate that. And I really milked it, to be honest. I had a birthday week. And I've never been one to have a birthday week, but I had a birthday week. I went out for lunch every day to nice restaurants. Went and did but only because people took me there. I didn't pay for it myself, can't afford. But I'd go and have, really nice experiences. And again, I'm not a millionaire. I'm not loaded, but I just felt so grateful to be able to go and do it. And you should treat yourself. You should my mum is the worst person. She won't do anything for herself. She literally once, I saw her plucking her eyebrows with her own fingertips. I was like, what are you doing? Go and get them done, you mad bitch. So I don't like spending money on myself. And I was like, this is depressing. But I was like, just go and Jesus. Just go and spend a bit of time on yourself.
Yeah, you can do that. You're allowed.
And we save things till the best. It's like save a bottle of champagne for best, and the time never comes, and it ends up getting chucked away or what. Like, we don't treat ourselves enough. You should treat yourself more, even if that's, you know, a fucking bath with some, I don't know, with a candle or something. Whatever it is, just take. I mean, I say that I'm sneering at it, but that is one of my favourite activities.
I was going to say, you're making it sound like you don't do that.
No, I love a bath. In, out, like I'm being sponsored. Back in, hot water in. Oh, it's amazing. Anyway, that's really taking a turn. But I think that's a really good way of keeping your mental health. Self-care, innit? That's the what the kids are calling it nowadays. Bit of self-care.
Yeah. Do something nice for yourself. Yeah.
Exactly. You deserve it.
You do. You absolutely do. That's that. There are people that do feel guilty that, I don't want. I'm like, no, have a day. Go and do. Or just that. Go to the pub and get pissed. You know, it's not. What's the worst?
I mean, I'm probably quite selfish, but not selfish in a bad way. I'm just I just want to be really happy, and I'll do that regardless of what it takes.
But you would have seen
I'll spend hours in the bath with a hair mask on. I mean, not that you can fucking tell now, but I'll just go and I'll treat myself every day. No problem.
Well, you've earned it now. You've earned it.
I feel like I have.
You know, and like you say, you know what you've seen before from your old job. It does make you more, like you say, it makes you more aware of, like, I need to get on with stuff now. And especially, I feel that way having worked with old people in old people's homes and things like that. And you're like, fuck that, I don't want to be that. I don't end up being that. So I work really hard not to become infirm. I'm always up and about and moving. You know, it terrifies me because I'm nearer that than I was the thing before. I was talking to my mate Tom, and me and him, when we sign off from messages, and like we always say, boat drinks, and it's from a film. It's called Things to Do in Denver When You're Dead, and it's a gang of guys that go on, like, they do like heists.
I remember you telling me this actually.
Yeah. So we all, like I said to you before, we always sign off boat drinks. It's like a little thing, right? Because that's what they used to say, and it meant that when they finally retired, they were all going to buy this massive yacht, and they were going to just live on this yacht and have fun, have drinks, have boat drinks, and, you know, celebrate their lives. And I said it to Tom the other day, and I went, "Do you know we're nearly at that age?" And he was like,
"Yeah,
oh fuck,
you should be retiring."
Yeah, like he's a couple of months older than me, but so so it's just suddenly we're like 8 years till you're 60, 18 years till you're 70. Oh my god, 28 years until you're 80. Fucking, I ain't got time to fuck about. I ain't got time for this. Gonna have to go.
Yeah. My tampon's been in for ages. I'm gonna have to leave as well. I'm gonna die to myself. No one's got time for anything. But also, when I go back to Stoke, it's I think it's finding that balance between go out, get what you want, do what you want, make sure that you're utilising your time. But also, I'll go back to Stoke and have 2 days in my pyjamas, doing a bit of writing, doing a bit of podcast admin. But then I'll just spend the day with my nephew and be in that moment with him and not have my phone. I mean, he's usually got my phone by that point, but you know, not be bothered by that. Watch him. I mean, kids growing up is one of the most. That's when you see that time's going really fast.
Yeah,
like he was just a cute little baby, and now he's a little shit running around doing naughty things.
Well, my little one, I mean, he's only that's all right. My little one, he's only, you know, you can say all that.
Say again.
My little one's only. He's only, what is he? So he's nearly 2 months. He's just under 2 months, and he's already changed already. He's already massive. He's already shitting and doing all the things, and you're like, this won't take long at all. Oh my god.
No, it doesn't. No, and that's when. But I think you just have to make sure that you're hustling at the right times, but then you're also taking time to fester in your pajamas with the ones you love.
There should always be a time to fester in your pajamas.
Always be a time to fester. I'm going to get that on a t-shirt. TM.
So you got your Ghost Huns pod as well.
Yes.
Where's that come from? Because that's what Ghost Huns. Explain that.
Me and Susie Priest, after I filmed the Traitors, before it came out, and I was gigging and Susie was gigging. But I knew there had to be something. I knew that we had to do something else because you just can't really retire on stand-up comedy, can you?
No, not
On
at
its
all.
own, really. So I was like, there has to be something else. So we got a bit pissed at Heidi's and Balham, and which is like a real basic bitch. I think it's gone now, actually. Like a real basic bitch place to go and branch with the guys.
Oh, right, yeah. Very nice.
And I love a bottomless brunch more than anybody. I love
I
a bottomless
remember.
brunch. Getting pissed
I
in
do
the
remember
day.
you. You're the queen of them.
I am. It's the best thing. And I was always like, you know what, I'm a basic bitch, but whatever, I'll own it. And we got pissed and we talked about our love of all things spooky and scary and ghosty. And we were like, shall we do a podcast? Should we do a little podcast about ghosts? And I wanted to call it Prosecco with the Deddy. And we knew someone who was a producer at Spotify, and they said, "Yeah, you can call it that if you don't want anyone to listen to it." And I was like, "Okay."
Yeah.
That was a quick yeah, Rich.
It's a terrible name.
Correct. I was obsessed with it. I thought it was it really made me laugh. Really made myself laugh.
Terrible.
And we just kind of said, should we just call it Ghost Huns? Because we're like Huns, Hun culture, all that kind of thing. And I know it sounds weird to say this, but I seriously did want to kind of say to all the people that are interested in the macabre and the kind of spookiness that it's not for, you don't have to be like a weirdo. If you are a weirdo, that's fine as well. But you can be a girly girl and like ghosts as well. Yeah. So we decided to go down Ghost Huns. Everything's pink, even though I fucking hate pink. Everything's pink. And we just wanted it to be, I mean, basically the premise is we tell ghost stories and then we try and contact the dead.
Right.
In various different ways. We go on ghost hunts every month. I mean, this is my job. It's so weird that this is what we get paid to do.
Yeah.
And we started that just over a year ago. And then tomorrow we've got a billboard in Leicester Square.
What?
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
So
doing all right.
Well, I very cleverly released it on the same day that Traitors came out.
Well done.
No, it wasn't very clever. It's just because people love ghosts.
Yeah, oh God, yeah.
And most of the time it takes us 25 minutes to get to talking about ghosts because we're just talking shit. But we're very, very proud of it. And we're going on tour at the beginning of February.
Excellent. I'm so pleased. That's fucking great. Really good. Really good.
I know, it's really fun. It's really good. But it is because, I mean, people come to the podcast because they like ghosts and hopefully they stay because they like us. But I'm not, we needed to have a theme to bring people to the pod.
Oh, definitely.
Because we certainly weren't narcissistic enough to think that people are going to want to listen to us bang on for an hour about shy.
You'd be surprised how many people think that.
There's haunted houses everywhere. It's mad.
Because there's all the famous ones. I remember being years ago, we drove to a place called Pluckley, which is near Maidstone in Kent. And that's supposed to be really haunted. Like there's a headless horseman.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. And the graveyard's haunted and the thing's haunted. And we obviously went there in the middle of the night pissed and we didn't see anything. But apparently, Pluckley is the most haunted place.
Did you take a Ouija board with you?
No. That makes me laugh. People buy, was it a Ouija board that's made by Hasbro?
Yeah. We used one that was made out of, the scratchings were made of chicken blood.
Oh, really? See, that makes more sense.
Yeah. That was at Chillingham Castle. But we did do one that we bought off Amazon, and I did successfully, I'll have you know, manage to contact Keith Chegwin. And at the time, I didn't even know Keith Chegwin was dead.
How'd you know it was him?
Because he spelled out his name.
Oh, he said Cheggers instead of Chegwin, so you knew it was him.
So obviously a very well-known nickname of Keith Chegwin's, Cheggers.
So no one else could have said that from beyond. Mind you, if they're doing it from beyond, they've still contacted someone.
We're still contacting someone. Yeah, it might not be. I'm also a very funny person, might I add.
Yes, very. Yeah, who went? Oh, I'm Keith Chegwin.
We also went to Highgate Cemetery
I
because I
love it in
just
there.
love a graveyard. I
Yeah, it's good in there.
love graveyards. I find
Yeah.
them so peaceful. And we decided we were going to go film around Highgate Cemetery. And we found Jeremy Beadle's grave. And again, I didn't even know he was dead. So we were all grieving that day. And then we successfully contacted Jeremy Beadle
Oh,
via...
did you?
Yeah.
And how do you know?
Beadle very much was about.
What do you mean?
I said, there's a thing called a pendulum, right?
Right.
And you have to hold, there's like a little circle, little wooden circle, and it's got yes, yes, no, no, and maybe in the middle. Oh no,
Right.
maybe on another side, and the middle's got nothing. And you're supposed to hold the pendulum and contact the spirits and ask them to swing the pendulum one way or the other to answer the questions. And I said, it's Jeremy Beadle here, and it went yes all the way around. And I was like, great, that's that.
Who was holding the pendulum?
Me?
and you said, is Jeremy Beadle there? And the pendulum went, yeah. And you were holding the pendulum.
And I was like, well, that's that then.
Yeah, that's 100% proof, isn't it? You can't argue with that. Yeah.
Absolutely is. We've had some very funny experience. I mean, if you were to ask me to put my life on it, I'd say no, they're not real. But I'd just really like them to be real.
I'd love it. I do remember being years and years ago when we were at school and we went away to some trip and we sat and did a Ouija board under one of the bunk beds. And I remember hanging onto the glass and then we were talking. And then when the glass started to move, I shit my pants because I genuinely believed that it was Ollie Ellison was pushing it around.
What a little dickhead, Ollie.
It wasn't till later on he said it, but at the time we fucking shit ourselves. And then we're like, of course it was Ollie Ellison. Ollie was the funniest kid that I'd ever met at that point. Just fucking hilarious. And of course it was Ollie pushing it.
Have you ever seen a ghost, do you think?
I tell you what happened. Have I never told you this? So this happened.
Okay, no, go on.
So when
I'll just tell you to shut the fuck up if I have, when I get bored.
Yeah. I've heard this. It's boring. So I'm part of a Facebook group called I Lived on the Ramsden Estate, right? When I was a kid. And there was one day they were listing, there was a certain road, I lived on Brow Crescent, and there was this one day everyone was going, oh, I lived on Brow Crescent, I lived at this number, I lived at that number. And then a woman put out, I lived at 46. And I went, that's where I used to live at 46. I said, we moved out in 1979. And she went, yeah, that's when we moved in. And she went, there was Jungle Book wallpaper on the wall in the front bedroom. I went, yeah, that was mine. That was my wallpaper. She said, oh yeah, that was my mum and dad's room, but they had to move out of it because of the man that stands in the corner of the room when you go to bed. And that's what used to happen when I was in there. There used to be a dude that would stand in the corner by the cupboard and he'd just stare at you. And I'd never told anyone that. My mum and dad knew about it, but we'd never told anyone.
Did you have anything that looked like a man?
No. There was just a cut. No, there was nothing like that. A cardboard cutout of Darth Vader. There was none of that. There was nothing in that corner because it was a cupboard. Literally. There was a door. So this fella used to stand there. He used to stare at me. And then she said, yeah, that was the fella. And I was like, oh, my God. And then she said, get on this. When we excavated the back garden, we were cleaning it to do a patio, do whatever. They said they found a gravestone in the back garden.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. So I'm like, no wonder he's still hanging around. They buried him in the garden like a fucking pet. Just stuck him in a shoebox.
Go and live your death life somewhere else.
So that happened.
In a fucking house in where? Oh my God, no.
Orpington,
Where else you
yeah.
go anywhere.
But that was it.
So what then? Do you believe in ghosts then?
I don't. But then when that happened, I'm like, fuck, maybe there is something. So I don't know. How would she have known about the fella?
I know. I've had a couple of experiences that I can't explain away.
Yeah.
But I still don't believe in it. But these experiences, I can't explain them. And I know they happen. So I can't.
Yeah.
And even recently, the first thing that happened was It was when I was 15, and I was in my bedroom, and I was putting on my makeup because I was going to go down the fields and get fingered by my high school boyfriend. I was getting ready in my mirror, and I was doing my makeup, and my mirror was, you could see my door through the mirror. My door was open, and the bathroom was next door. So I was putting my makeup on, getting ready to go out. It was like 4:00 in the afternoon after school, so wasn't even dark. Wasn't like a spooky time. And my dad walked past my door to go into the bathroom because he's a builder. So he every day when he'd come home, he'd go into the bathroom and have a shower.
Mm.
So I saw him walk past the door, heard the door close, heard the water come on. And I shouted him and was like, "Dad, can you give me a lift down to wherever I was going?" And he didn't answer me. So I waited a few more minutes. I was watching the door I could see the door out of my peripheral vision, waiting for him to come out so I could ask him. He never came out. So I walked outside, doors wide open, went in the bathroom, no one's there, shower's dry, no taps are on. Then I went down to Mum and I was like, "Where's Dad gone?" And she was like, "Oh, he's just called. He'll be home in about an hour."
What?
I was like, who the fuck was that then? Because I wasn't even in a moment where I could... It wasn't even like my mind could have been playing tricks on me because I wasn't scared.
It was just, you thought that was your dad. Yeah.
I was just like, there's my dad. Because I just saw a bloke walk past and go into the bathroom, which is what I've seen him do a million times. But then I saw him come in the driveway and he was like, "No, I haven't been here." I made him search up and down the house. I was like, "Someone's in the fucking house." There was no one there. And then there's another time when I've stepped... my mum was lying, actually. She said that she felt something. Because when I was sat at the kitchen table, my nephew was across the other side of the table. And I was playing with him. And I felt someone tap my leg. Like, just as if someone had just tapped my leg with a hand. And I said to my mum, "I just felt someone tap my leg." And she went, "I feel that all the time." Turns out she was fucking lying. That's a long story. She was just doing it. Then, the next day, me and Susie were going to go on a ghost hunt for the podcast. And I got out some sage from the drawer as a laugh. I was like, "I'm going to take my sage. I'm going to sage it for a bit of fun." And I turned around and I bumped into someone. Because my house, there's always people in the house. So I was just stood in the kitchen. The kitchen's massive. It's a big extension on the kitchen. And I bumped into someone. I went, "Oh, sorry." And there was nobody there. But I felt a body that I'd just bumped into. And then the most recent thing is... parents were away on holiday. Me and my brother were staying in the big house. We both came downstairs one morning. Cellar door under the stairs, wide open, light on.
My God.
And I was like, "Is that you?" And he was like, "No, I'm genuinely scared." Then we came into the kitchen. I was like, "That is weird. No one ever goes into the cellar. The cellar's locked. No one goes in." So I was like, "That is weird." All of a sudden we hear... an old Nokia phone starts going off. So we both ran. He pushed me out the way. Himself. And we went round to my nana's, who lives next door, and she had to come round and go and check the cellar for us.
And what was it?
It was
nothing.
my mum's work phone. But we've got no idea about... But it was weird because they didn't choke. Because I thought there's someone in there. There's someone in the cellar, like someone's trying to rob us.
Yeah. Fuck.
But my mum was like, "No one's there." And I saw the look on my brother's face. He's too scared. He wouldn't go down in the middle of the night and do that anyway because he'd be too scared himself.
Yeah. Fuck that. I mean, that's the thing.
Well, I can't explain any of those things.
No. I've had it a few times where I've heard someone say my name. There's a house that we get put up in. When we do Sheffield, Last Laugh, and Toby puts you up in this house in the village where he lives. And if you, a lot of the time, you're in there on your own because all the other acts live north, so they go home. So I'm in there, and I walked in, and they told us the story about the fella that used to own it. He apparently got up one day and he washed his car and he mowed his lawn and he went and did his chores and he went up to the coach road and he hung himself. Right? And we were taking the piss. It was me, Phil Ellis, and Milo McCabe when we stayed there one Christmas, and we were winding Milo up, going, "This place is haunted, it's fucking haunted." And Milo was freaking out. And then we went to the gig that night, and Foxy, who does the sound at Last Laugh, went, yeah, the fella. And he told us the story. And then I said, and then I'm like, that's bullshit. And then when I was there on my own a couple of months ago, and I walked in, and I was putting all the lights on, and this voice just went, "Rich." I was like, "Fucking what? Yeah.
Oh.
And then the next night, Toby was giving me a lift into town because I had some running around to do. So he drove me in, and I said to him, "This story about the house, is it true?" He went, "Hang on a minute," and he rang his wife. Didn't just rang her. Didn't know I was going to call, and had her on speakerphone. And he went, "Hey, babe, I'm just ringing up. Tell us the story about the house." And she went, "Oh, what about the fella that hung himself?" Yeah. And he went, "It's not haunted, that house." I went, "Fuck off." I said, "Something's happening. Someone said my
You're
name."
like, you can book me in a Premier Inn next time, Robert.
Yeah, he used to do that, and he was spending 30 grand a year on hotels. So he went, "Fuck that," and he bought this house.
So I'll put everyone in a haunted house.
Put us all in a haunted house.
Because then if they scare themselves to death, they're not going to be able to send their invoices.
Exactly. Oh, mate, this has been amazing. Thank you so much for joining us today. Where can we find you on the socials?
Hannah Byczkowski, spelt that way on everywhere.
Yeah, lovely. And Ghost Huns.
Thank you so much.
And Ghost Huns is on tour. Did you
Ghost
say?
Huns is on tour from February the 2nd. We're going to Wolverhampton. We're going to Birmingham. We're going to Manchester. We're going to all the glamorous places in the UK. You can find us on socials, TikTok, all those young people things.
Lovely. Thank you so much for joining us. This has been Insane in the Membrane. This has been Hannah Byczkowski. I've been Rich Wilson, and we will see you next time.